Let's now move on, and there's another important issue that we want to highlight for our viewers on Urban Debate this evening. Amid outrage, the CBSE has dropped the controversial passage from Class 10 English paper and assured that full marks will be given to students for this particular column. In a statement, the CBSE said that the passage is not in accordance with guidelines of the board with regard to setting of the question papers. The matter has been referred to committee of subject experts. The exam paper has brought out reactions from politicians, especially Congress chief Sonia Gandhi, who said that questions are nonsensical, raised strong voice against misogynistic questions. Center must apologize. Ministry, in fact, should conduct a thorough review. This is what she had to say in the parliament today. So she picked up this issue and spoke about it in the parliament, demanded an apology as well. Soon after that, of course, the question was taken back by the CBSE, but the apology is yet to come. Now, this controversy was on the comprehension section of the CBSE question paper that talked about parental authority on children. It went on to say that in 20th century, children became fewer and the feminist revolt was the result. The passage further said, what people were slow to observe is that emancipation of the wife destroyed parents' authority. In bringing the man down from the pedestal, the wife and the mother deprived herself. The multiple choice questions part has also raised eyebrows of some. The question paper went on to ask students to comment on this particular passage with multiple choice questions, asking, 1. Who is responsible for indiscipline among children? Collapse of discipline at home and place of children and servants at home. Children's psychology. I mean, these were the kind of options that were given to the children. And here we are talking about children of class 10th. This is what they were asked. And this is going to be our debate as well this evening on Mirror Now. Is that what we mean when we say Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao? And we'll be going across to my guests who are going to be joining us in just a bit because today it became a big political issue as well, with many politicians across party lines, in fact, outraging over the misogynistic comment that was mentioned here. Women's emancipation in a way has been trivialized. We have Trisha Shetty, advocate and founder. She says NGO, joining us on the broadcast. We are joined by Aishwarya Mahadev, national spokesperson of the Congress Party, Lalita Kumar Mangalam, former chairperson of the National Commission for Women, and Shaina NC, spokesperson of the BJP. Good evening to all of you. Thank you very much for joining us here on Mirror Now. Lalita Kumar Mangalam, I want to begin the discussion with you because you've been the chairperson of the National Commission for Women. What were your thoughts when you read what was written in this passage that was given to the students of 10th standard in their exams?
My first reaction was that it's an unfortunate passage in 2021, that those who had set the paper should have thought twice before, even introducing a topic that's as touchy and will have such a great influence on young minds. Girls and women, rightly so nowadays, do not like being relegated to second position and made to look as if their entire existence or their entire autonomy, or, as human beings, that it's all dependent on them holding up a man's prestige, or whatever the word that was used in that particular passage was. It's blatantly, according to me, blatantly patriarchal. The whole passage, I think there were 3 or 4 paragraphs, quite disgustingly so to me personally. But I am appreciative of the fact that the government, as soon as it was pointed out to them, did take immediate action and remove that passage. However, I think that, we need to really understand that patriarchy is, it's not a sort of one-off for a particular party or a particular regime or a particular government department. It is so deep and so all-pervasive, let me put it, that's the best way that I could think of, that, except, and I've seen this in my lifetime and in the last 35 years that I've worked with women, etc., when Nirbhaya happened, when that greatly tragic, unfortunate incident happened, the country came together across political divides. That's what we need to do today. We have to really, all of us, put together not just condemn and stop talking about who did what, which politician was more aggressive than the other, because all of this trivializes the whole thing. And I've said this for years, and we go on having this debate again over and over again on television, that everybody, regardless, party, religion, gender, etc., needs to be put aside, and we have to work together to see that the right inputs are given at every level of society, at school to children, to the bureaucracy, to the police,
but
to
ma'am,
the
that's
legal
not
system,
happening,
to
unfortunately.
activists, to
Ma'am,
everybody
that
across
doesn't
the
seem
board.
to be happening.
And see to it that, this blatantly misogynistic
That doesn't seem to be happening, unfortunately, ma'am.
Is not an again and again presented before our children, especially.
Aishwarya Mahadev, I want you to come into the discussion because, the response from the CBSE also came after there was outrage. And why I specifically mentioned the name of Ms. Sonia Gandhi, because she was the one who raised this issue in the parliament today.
First and foremost, I think, ma'am, Ms. Kumaramangalam very aptly pointed out, how things have changed since Nirbhaya and what the status quo was. But I think since Nirbhaya to now, all of society has systematically desensitized itself to a lot of things against women that are patriarchal or that are misogynistic. And Mrs. Gandhi brought this out in Parliament today, yes, but yesterday Ms. Priyanka Gandhi also tweeted about it, saying this is absolutely ridiculous. And and Mr. Rahul Gandhi said it's absolutely disgusting. It's utterly disgusting. The fact still remains that the CBSE needed the opposition, or even the government needed the opposition to pull them up for this, because this means if we were silent, this would start setting a new normal. And every single day we take 10 steps backwards in a lot of ways when it comes to crimes against women, when it comes to gender, mainstreaming, or even moving away from gender stereotyping. And the larger danger here is that impressionable children are given a comprehension passage and then are asked to choose multiple choice questions, all of which more revolting and more disgusting than the other. And this is what you're trying to impart to our children, and this is the problem that remains. But the larger issue that exists, if I may take a minute away from what has happened currently, is that the syllabus and gender sensitivity in our school syllabus is still far behind, let's say, a lot of other countries. I'm not comparing it to, let's say, Western liberal democracies that people would say, but even a lot of other countries of Southeast Asia and across the world. And this does give us a lot of scope to have constructive conversation about it going forward. But I do believe, and I'm very appreciative of the fact that my leadership did take umbrage to the fact that this had happened, and the CBSE did correct it. But the fact remains that the CBSE's response was so callous that it almost seemed like they're doing it just to prevent more outrage rather than an actual course correction in itself. So let's see what the path holds going forward.
China NC, how will you like to respond?
Yeah.
Because both my guests mentioned, there was a lot of outrage looking at the commentary that was mentioned in that comprehension passage. But is Beti Padhao just a slogan for the BJP? Because there are so many women ministers as well in the center today, but we haven't really seen this kind of an outrage coming from their side. Why?
Go ahead, Lalita ji.
Yes, Ms. Kumaramangalam, I'll come to you.
First of all, I think that's
Let
a very
China
unfair
respond
statement.
first. I will then go across to.
Thank you, Shaina. Let me just take advantage of Shaina's giving me this time. First of all, I think that's a very biased statement. And I say this very frankly, because for the first time in over 70 years since independence, nearly 75 years, for the first time we have a male-female, a gender ratio, which is pro-women than men. It doesn't happen because you have a patriarchal government in ruling the center. It's easy to make these, semi-political, sometimes I'm sorry to use such a strong word, almost reactionary statement where it says Beti Padhao is useless. But if it was, in the last 7 years, the gender ratio would not have been tilted towards women. This is a landmark achievement. Forget about the number of bathrooms built and the number of loans given, etc., etc. All of those are data that we can leave out of today's debate if necessary. And I'd also like to just make one point. I'm not going to become more political after this, I promise you, that the three Gandhis that Ms. Bhati mentioned, I understand that, the Congress, you have to do this, but the fact is that it was the father of one, the husband of one, and the father of two, and the husband of one. who turned over that historic Shah Banu judgment. There has been nothing more patriarchal and openly, opportunistically, politically patriarchal than the upturning of a Supreme Court judgment that happened in 1986. Having said that, I will repeat what I said.
I'll get Aishwarya to respond. I'll get Aishwarya.
Should not have
Ms.
been
Kumar
there.
Mangalam, I'll get Aishwarya to respond to that.
Go back to
Ma'am, I'll get Aishwarya Mahadev to respond to that. But you know, but Ms. Lalita Kumar Mangalam, you know, when I came to you first in the debate, I came to you as the former chairperson of the National Commission for Women. And I did not really want to make it political. I asked a political question because Ms. Aishwarya did mention that, you know, at least people in the Congress party, starting from Priyanka Gandhi Vadra to Rahul Gandhi to Sonia Gandhi in the parliament, at least raised this matter. So my question was simple, and I'm not doubting Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, by the way. I'm not casting any doubts on that. I asked a simple question to Shaina NC. Is that just a slogan? Because, you know, what was mentioned in this passage is quite appalling. You know, it says what people were slow to observe was that emancipation of the wife destroyed the parent's authority over the children. The mother did not exemplify the obedience upon which she tried to insist. In bringing the man down from his pedestal, the wife and the mother deprived herself, in fact, of the means of discipline. What is mentioned, ma'am, is extremely appalling. Shaina NC.
I think not only is it regressive or misogynistic, we need to understand that this kind of commentary shows that there is emancipation of women. But in a particular connotation, this is not some kind of a competition between BJP and Congress. This is about a mindset in our society which exists, and we have to make sure that we make the right choices. The right choices are made when you raise the issue, yes, but when you correct it. We're not a regressive government because otherwise the CBSE would not have removed this question. The fact that they removed the question, the fact that Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao is not just a slogan. And when the Prime Minister speaks at the Lal Killa, what does he say? Question the men in our society who go out at night and not the women. Question the kind of attitude of the male child and not the woman. These multiple choice questions show you that there is a society which is regressive in nature, which is patriarchal in nature, which has this male misogynistic approach, and we have to fight it in totality. And that is the reason why we're debating, and we're not making this a competition of one-upmanship of who has said worse and who has said less worse.
I was only stating the facts, Ms. Shaina NC. Tushar Shetty, would you like to come in?
Honestly, I am heartened that Shaina recognizes that this is not a competition, because this is true. The patriarchal mindset has been an equal opportunity offender, regardless of what political party has been governing us, right? But since we've been talking about Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, the recent news article that came out that basically says upwards of 79% of the funds allocated to this have been spent on advertisements is troubling, is absolutely troubling. And I think it must be acknowledged that this is one, taxpayer money that is allocated to Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. And with taxpayer money, there has to be a sense of responsibility that comes with it. And it is all well said and done to have a commitment towards saving the girl child as well as educating the girl child. But that commitment comes by not spending it on ad money to talk about how great you are, but by actually changing the reality for children on ground. Right. Also, another thing, look, when you talk about Beti Bachao, saving the girl child, we must talk about the plague of child sexual abuse. 1 out of every second child in India has been sexually abused, has been subject to violence, out of which 51.4% are young boys. So then we must also push for comprehensive sex education within school structures that sensitizes educational institutes on how to handle cases of abuse and violence, because most of these violence happens in intimate settings, right? So this is why schools must be robust. So perhaps this is a good opportunity for the government to do better and not spend this kind of 70%, upwards of 79% on advertisements, but actually roll this out across educational institutes. And finally, talking about the patriarchal mindset, yes, it's true. But then let's also address the laws that are patriarchal. Marital rape is not a crime in our country. These sort of questions don't come by happenstance. It comes from deeply misogynistic and patriarchal laws that we have as well. When you have a law of rape with an exception that says no man can be charged with sexually assaulting his wife unless the wife is less than 15 years of age, which has now been amended to 18 to protect the rights of children. Ergo, you are sending a message that a married woman must be always, does not have agency over her body, must comply to the wishes of her husband. So it's all well said and done to say this is patriarchal, our government is making reforms, but do that by actually investing taxpayer money into resource management, as well as changing the law. You have such a historic mandate. You can change the law to ensure that this patriarchal mindset is not a reality that we continue to live with, all of us, right? Regardless of your political affiliation.
Absolutely. That's an important point you're making. A quick response, China NC, because a couple of days ago, only a report, a survey, in fact, had come that suggested 80% women in Telangana, Andhra, Karnataka back men beating wives. That explains how the situation is on the ground.
I think it's appalling, but do you think that every single legislation is going to determine mindset? Or is mindset something which is much more sociological, which we need to discuss right from education, family structure, what we're teaching the girls and boys at home, and then move to education and beyond. So I don't think it's just about legislation. There are people who justify wife beaters. There are people who speak up against wife beaters. So we need to ensure that every single person who faces any kind of atrocity, it could be physical domestic violence at home, or it could be the other issues that we have raised on this debate. Those need to be dealt with contentiously, and it's not as if it's a competition of one versus the other.
Okay, Ms. Lalita Kumaramangalam. Now, the CBSE, of course, had dropped this particular controversial passage and had said that it's going to award full marks. But don't you think CBSE should also come out? The center should also ask questions of the CBSE as to how something like this was even allowed to go into the question paper for class 10th. I mean, now they have referred this matter to a committee, but shouldn't the CBSE come out and at least apologize as being demanded by the opposition today?
I think the fact that the CBSE took down that entire passage in itself is admitting that they were wrong, and it is a sort of apology to the students, because it was very clear that it was not just the reaction from social media that made them do it. I think when it was pointed out to them, they took it down promptly. But I do agree with you, such passages should never have been there, and it is good that there is a committee, and that I hope the committee really goes into the real truth of how all of this came about and does punish, or at least, hold those responsible for this whole, very unfortunate inclusion in a 10th standard CBSE class paper. Let's remember that, it's not just women girls who give the paper, it's also boys. And it has a very regressive effect on all students' minds, not just the girl student, also the boys. As it is in this country, most of the sociological fabric is still very deeply patriarchal. When some things like this come up in school newspapers, and I read through the questions, I really found them disgusting. Apart from anything else, like I said, in 2021, this sort of thing should never even have been thought of, forget about put in a newspaper. But
ma'am, that is exactly the reason why I asked why there wasn't enough outrage. That is why I asked, ma'am, why wasn't there enough outrage? That is why I asked, why wasn't there enough outrage? If you agree, if Shaina agrees, just like Aishwarya and Trisha on the panel this evening, that it was a very regressive statement, a very misogynistic kind of a comment. So if you all agree, then why did we not see enough outrage? In the parliament today, the Women and Child Development Minister, the Education Minister.
This is the unfortunate truth. Sadly enough, most of India is still very regressive. I mean, few and far between across party lines. We agree on some things, but most women from all parties, let me tell you that personally, not as a member of the BJP or in any other this thing, most of us agree on this. But unfortunately, Indian society is still far too deeply and strongly patriarchal. And this is not just in families. This is across the government, across the judiciary, across the police, across teachers. I mean, it's amazing, and it's frightening sometimes when you come up against it. I can give you innumerable instances that I had to deal with as NCW chairperson, some of which are even too disgusting and too, I mean, almost unbelievably ugly, about young girls, children, women of all ages. I mean, I have seen rapes from the age of 60, 69 to the age of 2-month, 3-month-old babies. So what can we say about a mindset that allows that? That doesn't even give it, that doesn't even name and shame even today.
But Aishwarya Mahadev, if we will continue to acknowledge that patriarchy is a part of life, part of our system, then how will things really change? How will things really change then? Simple question. We can't just say ये attitude है तो चल रहा है तो चलने दो.
In the past, and I've been at this for 30 years. Really, there were not too many voices raised. Today, more and more women and even men are raising their voices against
maybe
it.
Maybe a little more. Maybe, ma'am, a little more is needed. Got your point. Got your point, ma'am. Aishwarya, then Shaina NC. Yes, Aishwarya.
Really appreciative of the fact of what Lalita ma'am is saying is, if today, if in the BJP, in the well, with all the women parliamentarians that you have, if one of them had, let's say, the power of conviction to actually stand up and say this is wrong, or the fact that anybody in the current dispensation felt it was wrong. But there is a deep systematic issue, and this issue is further perpetuated by the fact that a large part of the government and the dispensation are largely patriarchal, whether it is the use of changing history and textbooks across states like Rajasthan or Gujarat, or whether it's the fact that you have people like Dinanath Batra writing your moral science textbook, or it's the fact that you had a boys' locker room incident and then that suddenly went quiet after all that outrage, or the fact that you systematically dehumanize women to be chattel. We have seen it across the country, whether it was Hathras, whether it was Unnao, whether it was Kathua. You have seen over the past 7 to 8 years that there's a massive degradation in the value of a woman's life, one. Second, the priority that the state, who does have that sort of power to try and regulate and keep women safe, the sort of paternalistic, necessary paternalistic attitude by, let's say, social contract or whatever that the state should have to protect women, that has deteriorated. You've seen lawmakers with crimes, with charges of crimes against women against them. And you're really sitting here expecting that things are going to get better. Absolutely not. It is a point of introspection, whether you like it or not. And I say this, I was much younger when Nirbhaya happened. I remember the chills and the way my spine felt when I heard what had happened. And then we saw what happened to Asifa a few years later, and the outrage was lower because every single day we saw crimes like this. We saw what happened in Hathras. We saw exactly what was happening even with Unnao and that little girl and her family having to kill itself. The system is rotten. And Shaina ji makes a very valid point by saying just making laws does not change mindset. But I'm saying when the people making laws also perpetuate a mindset of deep ingrained misogyny, there is a larger problem. And I'm not saying this is just on her side of the spectrum. We all have been caught out a lot of times when statements that are unnecessary have been made, even on my party side. But the difference remains that we're the first to call them out, and at no point do we condone that behavior. And that, to be very honest, is one step forward in the right direction. I'm not being holier than thou on this,
Shaina.
but this is
Shaina
what I felt,
NC.
and I want to, put that forth as a view.
My dear, Aishwarya is going back to the same point
Shaina.
and making this a competition. My dear, Aishwarya is making this the same point of a competition between BJP and Congress. It's not. What are we fighting? We're fighting a misogynistic mindset, which is way beyond political differences. You have said that the Congress raised this issue in Parliament. I am saying the BJP has reacted on the issue by removing this question from the CBSE.
But
now,
ma'am,
is that not a step in a
but ma'am,
positive
you
direction?
tell me something.
We
You
are
tell me
talking
something. You
about
tell me
domestic
something.
violence.
Is one
We are
second.
talking
One
about
second.
Nirbhaya.
One second.
We're talking about
One second.
rape.
One second.
What are
Shaina
we-
NC,
let's not mix
you are
and
saying
correlate issues,
BJP.
Ina.
No, it's not about BJP and Congress. It is not about BJP versus Congress here. Shaina NC, you said that Congress party raised it in Parliament, BJP has taken action. But my point is that it's like slapping somebody and saying, I'm sorry. And this is about the career, the future of the children of our country, who are our country's future. The 10th standard student is being asked to read something which is highly misogynist. And then you just come out and say, we've deleted this passage, we'll give you full marks. But people have read it. Shouldn't there be action against the people who were responsible? Where is the signal of intent?
Hina, advertently or inadvertently, you have a CBSE exam paper which has a section which actually highlights the mindset of us as Indians, which needs to be condemned in totality. This is not a revolt, or this is not a wrongdoing, as you are terming it, of the government. As I said, advertently or inadvertently, who were the experts putting forth this examination paper? And emancipation of a wife, does it exist or not exist is the larger question. But we as a society need to speak up, need to speak against, and Parliament has acted as it should have. As I said, this is not between or Lalita ji and Trisha, or Trisha and me. This is about highlighting what are the standard stereotypes. Don't we objectify women in films? Don't we objectify women in terms of thought process? All of this needs to be fought with, and our Prime Minister
so that needs to be stopped, and that's the reason why we are having this debate today. Trisha wants to come in, and then Aishwarya. Yes, Trisha.
Last.
Could you just unmute yourself, Trisha? We're not able to hear you.
Sorry, I rookie mistake. I just wanted to say we elect a leadership to represent the best of us, right? Not to reflect the lowest common denominator that plagues our society. So to say this is just a reflection of a patriarchal mindset that we have been plagued with, not just in India, but frankly across the world, is problematic to me, because that is not why we elect leadership. We elect leadership to set benchmarks of quality, of standards that we can all espouse to be. Second, right? Who is the sexist buffoon that thought of drafting this? Why don't we just name and shame and critically punish the person and make sure they are never in a position again to draft any sort of questionnaire that young impressionable minds can read? An investigation into this shouldn't take long. As Lalita ji and Shaina have said, let's just identify who are the people who are responsible for this when it comes to drafting this sexist questionnaire, when it comes to approving this and being negligent with letting this get in front of the eyes of young impressionable minds. Let's identify them and make sure that they are sacked and removed from their positions of ever being able to do this again. And finally, again, I come back to this. Why is 79% of the Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao fund being spent on advertisements? Can we get a commitment from the representatives of this leadership to say that they will raise this question with their own party and ask for funds to be allocated towards resources to actually make sure children get access to guaranteed quality education? That's it. I've kept politics out of this completely. If we can just get these answers, I would be grateful.
Okay.
And sorry, just the last thing, can we not take
Lalita ji, the first point that Trisha Shetty. Okay, Lalita ji, now the first point that Trisha has raised here, that was the signal of intent that I was talking about when I was talking to Shaina also earlier. Here, don't you think the person who was responsible for writing this, for putting it in the question paper, should be exposed? Action should be taken against him so that this is not repeated again. That's the only thing we are asking for, but it's not visible. I mean, you take action, but you need to also show that you're taking an action and you are going to ensure this doesn't happen again. That will show that you are as outraged as anybody else on the show.
I already said
too much to
that
ask?
Yes, whoever is responsible for this should be taken to task. Now, you can't expect them to actually find out who was responsible for it in about less than 12 hours and, announce that this is the punishment we've handed out to them. What they did do was immediately take down that passage, which itself is it's very fast work. I really didn't expect it because such outrage has been there on several other issues, in several other governments, both BJP and other governments, no action has ever been taken. I've had myself as NCW chief, I've had many spats with both my own government and, which were, and many other governments which did a lot of very retrograde things against women. But like Shaina says, this is not about me versus you, BJP versus Congress, etc. This is about today's incident. Yes, it was not right. It was very patriarchal. It should not have been there. But we must also admit that the CBSE board responded immediately. Within, I think, less than a few hours, almost immediately. I mean, I got the news in about a couple of hours. I was told it's been taken down, and I was very happy. Now, when somebody takes something down, I think the letter that was released by the CBSE has not been read by anybody, perhaps, or maybe even you. I'm sorry, I don't know if you've read it. The red letter makes it very clear that they do not agree with what happened, and that is why they are taking it down. They had set up a panel immediately and they took it down. But yes, whoever in that panel found the person or persons who did this ridiculous thing, I'm sure they will be taken to task. I mean, you can't say that in 12 hours everything has to happen. The government is a huge entity, and the HRD ministry itself is also a huge entity. They will take action. And when they do, I'll come back and remind you about what you said today. Of course, everybody expects it, and rightly so, and it will be done.
Ma'am, I did read the statement, in fact, that CBSE had come out with, and Shaina NC. Now, as far as CBSE is concerned, why it is a matter of concern also today, because it was the second controversy in just 2 weeks. Because if you will recall, then earlier, in the sociology class 12th exam, CBSE again had to issue a public apology and described the error there. And the point was the unprecedented scale and spread of anti-Muslim violence in Gujarat in 2002 took place under which government? So if such kind of errors are happening again and again, don't you think there should be a clear direction from the education ministry that, this is not going to be acceptable? I mean, you can't just have somebody sitting there and putting things as one feels like.
Tina, I completely agree with you that we must look at every single question that is put out. But now, as I said, if it is advertent or inadvertently somebody puts out a question, what is more important? Has action been taken or action not? Are people in denial or have people accepted? Here we're all in agreement that there is no place for regressive, misogynistic, typical feminist comments which are sometimes totally below the belt. And if you want to bring people down from their high horses and pedestals, action needs to be taken, and that action has been taken. So I think that's where we stand. Let's collectively fight the mindset in our society of these male chauvinists who have a typical way of viewing women, who have a typical way of just objectifying the women in our society.
All right, I give you the last word, Aishwarya, now.
Really want to clarify that I'm very happy that everybody here is on the same boat, that this was unequivocally wrong. But I also agree that this should not be about whataboutery, what the BJP says, what the Congress says. And I agree. But let me also reserve the right that to call out when people perpetuate these stereotypes themselves first. Second, I did see the CBSE's response. It should have been prima facie unequivocal condemnation, not things like there was a perspective or a difference of opinion on gender stereotyping. Just because they called it out in 12 hours does not change the fact that somebody thought it was okay to even put it out there on the paper. And that is the fact that you have to hit home. But this again is the large scale problem, because this seems to be happening again and again. And this is also, again, Ms. Trisha Shetty spoke wonderfully when she said, politicians are meant to have a far higher role and on a higher pedestal in terms of responsibility also. And I think this is where it comes. Just saying such a quick response is wonderful. That's like saying after the building is burnt, you went in and the fire, you tried to douse it, but the damage is already done. The fact remains that the condemnation came from the side of the opposition, and the government did not proactively believe also prima facie that they should have condemned it and taken it out before the outrage. We can go about this again and again, but I truly believe, and you can call this political, and we saw whatever you may say about it. But I truly believe that you cannot stand for equality or even any sort of gender mainstreaming or even equality when you inherently, as an ideology, believe in the system that women are lower than men, when you believe in subjugation. And Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, absolutely, I agree. Out of the 850 odd crores, only 156 crores has been allocated for actual implementation. And the 79.81% or something of that sort, all of it goes into advertising. And whose face do we see there? The fact is, put your money where your mouth is. You have these flagship schemes that are not doing anything on the ground, and that you relook. Look at the misogyny in your party.
Right.
Look at the crimes against women perpetuated from people in your party, and then we will talk about how all of us can come together, sit and talk kumbaya, but all of us are also wrong in this. And there's a lot of introspection that has to happen, and hopefully that will as a conversation going forward.
Absolutely, because all the women on the panel today at least agreed that this was regressive. What was mentioned was highly misogynistic. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining us here on Urban Debate. Tusha Shetty, Aishwarya Mahadev, Ms. Lalita Kumaramangalam, and Shaina NC. Heading into a very, very short break. There's lots lined up for you on the other side as well. Don't go anywhere.